A week ago today, Meghan Markle accused the British royal family of being racist. But as more allegations are now being fired back and forth, in today's video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Harry and Meghan's version of events and also the validity of Oprah's role. If you're new to my channel, I'm Sue Blackhurst, and if you want to learn how to analyse the observable behaviours of other people, then stick around to the end of this video. And if you haven't already subscribed, then do that now. And whilst you're at it, why not follow me on Instagram to gain more daily insights? There are so many damning revelations that have been made during the Harry and Meghan interview, and I believe that if you're going to stand up and make accusations about somebody else, then you need to be both able and prepared for them to give their side of events. Because we all know that we all see things from a different perspective, so once you've had the ability to have your say, you have to be willing to let the other side have theirs. And this for me is point number one. Because Harry will know more than anybody else that when it comes to the royal family being able and prepared to respond, I believe that their expectation was that only one side of the story would ever be heard, which in itself I think is very sad and a very erroneous place to be. So if Harry and Meghan felt that they were going to be able to discuss what they see as their side of events and that would be the end of it, as nothing would be challenged, then it looks as though they have severely underestimated the people who stand firmly by the institution that is currently on trial. I said on my last video that I watched the interview with really mixed feelings because I started out with all these feelings of compassion for the terrible treatment at the hands of the wicked royal family. But as the days have gone by, I've begun to have these nagging doubts because I've started to question so much of what I and probably everybody else heard. But the thing is that when people, and especially close friends, are told a bit of, I don't know, let's call it juicy gossip, the first thing that we naturally do is to believe it, because why else would they be saying it? So what we start to do is give out all these agreeing comments of, really, no way, they did what? Which is exactly what Oprah was doing. And it was therefore so easy for all of us to fall for what I now see is a staged or a very well-rehearsed set of questions and answers. And remember that the skill of any actor lies in their ability to learn their lines and deliver them with ease. And here's where it all changes. Because now we've all had time to reflect, we are starting to question the validity of the narrative that we heard. And like any good detective, you begin to piece the bits together, and it's only when they don't fit that elements of doubt enter your mind. And this is what's happening now, because the more we start to review what we've been told, the more we begin to say, hang on a minute, you said this, but that can't be the case. Because when somebody starts mixing the truth with a conflicting set of events, they create inconsistencies in their story. And once these holes begin to merge, the rest of what has been said carries very little weight. But now, as more people are beginning to drip feed alternative views of what happened, more holes are beginning to appear. And with that, I think it's safe to say that the interview has caused the Sussex brand more harm than good. Above everything else, I wholeheartedly believe that Harry's priority was always to protect his wife and family. He is genuinely terrified of Meghan being hounded like his mother was. So I applaud him for being strong enough to make the break from the institution that they believe was causing the negative feelings. So full marks to Harry for standing up to the very people that Meghan claimed were making her life so miserable. And there's no doubt that Meghan was having a bad time, and for whatever the reasons, there's also no doubt that she received negative press. So revealing that she had suicidal thoughts isn't something we could or ever should dispute. But what I would like to question is how those feelings were dealt with. Harry was strong enough to literally leave Queen and country and all that he had ever known, yet he was unable to find the help that Meghan so desperately needed. When we talk about mental health, the immediate dangers are to those suffering in silence. Once someone has found the strength to say that they need help, any rational person would be then a flash to find somebody who is qualified to offer this right level of support. So in my mind, I want to ask, what went so terribly wrong and why did this never happen? Meghan said that she was at her lowest whilst pregnant with Archie, so she would have been having regular checkups with some of the best medical staff around. Now, I've got 2 children myself, and I remember the regular visits to the health centre where I was always being asked how I was feeling. Now, I'm sure that Meghan wouldn't have been sat in the waiting room at her local health centre, but whoever's care she was under, that would have been the perfect opportunity for her to discuss both in confidence and in private that she was struggling. But instead of telling the midwifery team that were looking after her, she went to the palace HR department. What we know is that during her pregnancy, Meghan didn't want any of the usual medical team used by the royals. She wanted her own team, but who they were will never be revealed. But the whole pregnancy and birth of Archie is surrounded by mystery and conspiracy theories that Meghan wasn't actually pregnant and that Archie was born to a surrogate, which is a wonderful solution for so many amazing families, and I applaud all parties who enable couples to become families this way. So why they never would talk about it, I don't know if that was the case. But let's just say, totally hypothetically, and I'm not saying this is the case, it is just an alternative thought and an alternative idea, but let's just say that Meghan won't have the royal medical team because she isn't actually pregnant, because that obviously is the first thing they're going to discover. So under the disguise of privacy, they not only never need to reveal the names of her new medical team, they never need to attend any of the standard pregnancy checkups. Now, this doesn't dispute how she feels, but what it does do is question her or Harry's ability to seek the help that would have been available by the royal family or her own medical team. I have no idea whether Archie was born to a surrogate or not, and to be perfectly honest, I really don't care. But if Meghan had a medical team while she was pregnant, she would have been able to seek the help without any questions as to why she was going to a hospital. So why did they both say that whilst Meghan was pregnant, her only option was to go to the palace HR department? The next area that doesn't quite sit right with me relates to Oprah and her revelation that nothing was off limits and that she had no idea what the answers to her questions would be. Oprah wanted an interview with Meghan way before the wedding, but in the interview it came across that Meghan was actually quite disappointed that that didn't happen. But prior to the wedding, hadn't Harry already issued a statement to the press to leave her alone because she was struggling? So again, it's back to the we want privacy whilst remaining in the headlines. Meghan and Harry come from opposing worlds. You know, Meghan and Oprah come from this world of Hollywood where they will do anything to gain the exposure and be in the headlines. But Harry, on the other hand, comes from an institution that was built on privacy and an understanding with the press that the Queen will always stay silent and protect her family no matter what the allegations. To me, it looks as though this interview had been planned for a very long time, and I don't believe that Oprah would have risked the scoop of the century on an interview that may reveal nothing more than how the Queen likes her tea, or I don't know, what the family talk about over breakfast. Surely Oprah would have had full content control, knowing that somewhere there had to be those bombs dropped. Because without them, it's just any regular chat show, but with them, it was making TV history. And we also know that Meghan is a very independent and strong-minded woman, so I really can't see her agreeing to anything that doesn't allow her to have control over the questions. The big question is whether this was a genuine tell-all interview to set the record straight, or was this all planned to perfection to ensure that those exact allegations were made in hope that Harry and Meghan would gain public support and be cleared of all blame? We all have our own opinions and we've all got our own suspicions, but for $9 million, you don't go into an interview without a lot of prior conversations and knowing exactly what questions you need to ask to get the exact content that you need to stay in the headlines. Have you ever met somebody and felt an immediate connection with them, but just as easily, have you ever met somebody and it just didn't work from the outset? There are no rights or wrongs when it comes to personalities and human behaviour. Sometimes we complement and other times we just clash. But understanding how and why that happens is the key to building successful relationships with less friction and more harmony. And let's face it, getting on with people makes life so much easier. Using the DISC behavioural profile system, I can tell you more about yourself in 1 hour than many of your closest friends or family ever could. The report will not only help you to understand why you think and react the way that you do to certain people and certain situations, you will learn how to adapt your communication style to understand and win over the most difficult people. So to get your very own behavioural report with a 1 hour coaching and feedback session with me, just email the words "Tell me who I am" to the email address here, and it's also in the description box below. Thank you so much again. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram, and please do like, comment and share this video if you can. Do take care, and I will see you all next time.